especially take my long last
There you
name
go.
on top of it.
Good morning and welcome to the Indy Boomer Show. I'm Mary Pat Mckee and I am sitting here this morning with Jeff. I'm going to let you pronounce your last name.
Gronemeyer.
Thank you. That's a tough
You're
one
welcome.
for me.
It is for
I
me
was
as well.
never phonetically very good, so I can't even talk very good either. So anyway, good morning, welcome. I want to let everybody know the May issue of Indy Boomer is out, as you can see on the screen. Please pick that up. That is an Indy car on the cover with 500 miles and 100 years makes many race memories. They are available at most Kroger and Marsh stores in Marion and the surrounding counties. One thing we've done a little bit different this time I want to point out is we have made a Boomer Plus section, and that section can pull out. You open the magazine, it pulls out from the other magazine as a resource guide. And this is for boomers that are helping their parents, or maybe even for themselves if they're on the higher end of the boomer generation. But anyways, to be a resource guide to you, it's got information about retirement facilities, home health, different information, VA aid and attendance, Medicaid, all kinds of stuff that you might need to know. So anyway, there it is. Hope you pick up a copy. Jeff is here with one of my favorite places, American Senior Communities.
Great to be here.
You are a regional marketing person for them?
I'm a regional marketing person for the assisted living and garden homes. That's correct.
Okay, for assisted living and garden homes. What we're going to talk about today is independent living versus reliance needing help, and how a lot of seniors, as a lot of boomers, as we know, our folks don't want to leave their home.
Right.
The number one reason they do is they have to is because of safety.
Right.
But talk to that about independence versus the reliance part.
Well, I think when the boomer families are talking to their loved ones and their moms and dads, they hear a lot about I don't want to move yet.
Yeah, I hear it.
I'm not ready yet. Some other kind of version of that. And when they dig into it a little bit, I don't want to leave my house, because living at the house is tied very closely to the idea of being independent. Perception of independence.
Exactly.
Now, if you have an accident or some other high-level medical need that really demands a move, then you can kind of skip some of that middle step.
Right.
But for 90% of the folks that we talk to and deal with on a regular basis, the move has really got to be a choice to change. And one of the biggest questions and one of the biggest things that they deal with is this idea of, am I truly independent? So we're helping families find ways to have that discussion and look at what real independence means and what reliance is. Because what we find from our side of the table when we talk to families is that most of our seniors who have come to us have really been far more reliant than they have been independent.
Right. And there's also that perception with seniors, because the seniors, had to take care of their folks. And when they did, there wasn't all these lovely facilities like we have now. And, I know my grandmother lived with us until she passed away. And so this perception of nursing homes is wrong in their mind. But, that's what they know.
Correct.
My personal opinion is get them out and let them see it. What do you think? Let them see the retirement communities, and it's not
I think that's
a terrible place.
Absolutely a great first step.
Yes.
Because just what you said, for the senior who's considering the move and the family that's working with them, they are seeing exactly what they were doing in 1966 or 1976 when their parents were living with them.
Right.
Because there wasn't that intermediate step. You did go to a Good Samaritan home or a nursing home.
Well, and you went there because you had needed medical attention.
Correct. You were at a stage where kind of bedridden, you weren't walking anymore. Really last stage is almost what we look at as hospice now.
Yeah, that's true.
In a lot of ways was the nursing home environment. So they have that vision. They see that tile floor, the old paper nurse hat, and some of those kinds of things, the tray of food. They always make that comment when they come to visit us and see
it's
the
not
building.
what they thought it was.
I didn't think that this is what it was like.
Yeah.
Even though they've probably driven by it 100 times, until you walk inside, you don't realize.
Right.
What they also don't realize is how much true independence they regain by moving there at a time when they are still able to do the things that they want to do.
Right.
So those are important parts of bringing them into the building and starting to see what that interaction is, because that's the basis then for the later conversations that talk about, well, Mom, Dad, are you really doing independent things while you're living at home? Because I think if you were over at Allisonville Meadows or one of the other communities that we visited,
right,
you could be doing some independent
You've got
things.
activities.
You've got choices, and
Right.
you're deciding what you want to do. One of the most interesting things that happens after families move into our community is they decorate their apartment.
Yeah.
So they move things around. They've got different ways that they set it up. They ask to paint a wall or hang certain things. But that's a very forward-thinking, independent activity.
Well, it also makes your space your own.
It makes your space your own, which is fantastic. But it's a big difference between what they've done at their house. I ask families this a lot from an independence reliance standpoint.
Right.
When's the last time you painted anything in your house or changed out the carpet or had a plan?
Do you really want the answer
for
to
that? I do, because it's no.
Yeah.
Haven't in a long
It's
time.
a long time. Yeah.
And that's kind of the way you open their eyes to the idea that we're not really living independently and making those choices anymore. We're just waiting for a son or a daughter or a great-grandchild or a neighbor or a church congregation member or some other resource in the community to come by and help us with the things that we would normally have done by ourselves. And we're really just sitting around waiting for things to be done.
Right.
Which I guess kind of sounds like a good thing. You're getting help and people are coming in and helping out with things, but you're not self-directing that anymore.
Right.
You're just making sure that you're available at 10 o'clock when the person comes over to mow the lawn or the person comes over to bring a meal.
The other thing is, too, I mean, it's got to be upsetting to know that you have a leak in your roof, or that something's wrong with the plumbing in the bathroom, or the toilet keeps running, something like that, and you really can't do anything about it.
Right.
So to me, that would add additional stress, which isn't good. Stress is not good for anything.
Right.
Again, another reason to think about this type of thing.
Absolutely correct, because while they're sitting in the home and they've got a whole circle of people that are trying to help with what are we going to do, what does mom or dad need this week, what's next on the schedule.
Right.
You now have, remember the calendar you had for the high school students and the kids for all their plays, you now have one for mom and dad.
Oh, yeah.
As that adult child, and you're trying to manage all those things together. They're feeling stressed because when they don't have that person show up at 10 o'clock, that phone starts to ring.
Right.
So now they're calling and saying, well, Joe isn't here to do this work, or is this being done right? And as the adult child, you're worried, are they being taken advantage of? Are
always.
the vendors that are coming in to do work trustworthy? Are even
That's
the people,
a whole nother conversation. Yeah.
Are the people that are coming in from the various groups and social networks that they're involved with truly doing things that are in their best interest? So that stress piece becomes another big part of trying to manage that reliance.
Right.
Let's face it, when somebody's relying on you, there is a level of expectation and stress that most of us can't do day after day after day, month after month, and in some cases year after year.
Yeah.
So again,
It's
that's
just too
where
much.
coming to the assisted living piece, the garden home piece, can take all that away, give back both sides of the families, the adult child, their life back,
Right.
give the senior their life back.
Yeah.
Start doing the things that we used to do when we were independent, like host a birthday party or
Right.
invite friends over
And
to
do
visit.
fun things.
Go out to see a movie or a play or go to the Warbird Expo or any of the other things that you can get involved in that
Right.
in a reliance situation, maybe you get to go, maybe you don't. All depends on whether somebody else can take you, wants to take you, and you're well enough or want to actually go. So
Well, that this conversation could go on and on, but it will. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to come back, and I have a couple questions that have popped into my mind. when you were
Absolutely.
speaking.
Look forward to it.
We'll be right back. Thank you.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Oh, welcome back. Always having fun here on Indy Boomer Magazine show. I almost said Boomer TV. Hey, while I'm thinking of it, don't forget to watch Boomer TV on Sunday mornings. Channel 8 Wish with Patty Spittler host the show. And we have a new show this week. Always good. Always fun.
That'll be
exciting.
great. Love it.
Yep, we love it too. Hey, I'm sitting here with Jeff. Tell me your last name again.
Gronemeyer.
Thank you. I just don't want to have to say it because I know
That's
I'm going to
okay.
totally mess it up. Jeff is the regional marketing person for Assisted and Garden Homes.
Assisted and garden homes, correct.
Okay, couple questions I had from when we were talking. We were talking about reliance and independence, and one question, which wouldn't have that much to do with that, but is how many people, new people that come in, how many are couples versus one person?
Well, that's a great question. We see more couples
Do you really?
than we used to.
Okay.
I think a few years back, maybe 5 or so years back, we saw a lot more single folks. And
Okay.
the main reason is that we were waiting at it to a point where the medical necessity of moving out of the home
Right.
was really the main driver for that.
The safety
for that
issue.
inquiry. Safety, not
Right.
walking, not driving.
Yeah.
Mom wasn't eating for a couple of
Yeah,
months
that's a big one.
and
Yeah.
medication mismanagements. So the medical aspect was a bigger piece.
Right.
But what we realized as an industry, assisted living and garden homes, is that resident is not getting to us at a time when they really maximize the benefit of moving in. So
Right.
we changed our marketing strategies and the kinds of things that we do to be more appealing and to target those folks who are really in that independent phase. They can still self-direct their lives in most ways, need a little bit of oversight, or mostly just a person somewhere nearby that for that occasional time can run down to the apartment and help out with some specific things that aren't going to be ongoing.
Right.
And so now we're seeing more couples. We're seeing more
Good.
married folks who come in and realize that, the house is too big. We had it, we kept it 3,500 square feet, whatever it may be, because the kids were all going to come back with their kids. That stage is now past.
Right.
Kids are in college or older, and they're on to their great-grandkids even.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're thinking about the condominium move. So
Okay.
they're thinking about that transition from let's
Big
move from our
house
big
to-
house to a condo, and we're getting that opportunity to talk to them about the garden homes and really say, the condominium is just going to be a stall. You're going to move in, and maybe it's not going to have the impact on your life that you really want. Sure, you're not going to have home maintenance, you're not going to have landscape issues and things along those lines.
Right.
But you're still going to be isolated, who your neighbor's going to be, what's
Right,
going to happen
right.
when you age a couple of years and maybe you don't want to drive at night anymore. What kind
I
of
don't want to
limitations?
drive at night now.
I don't either, especially the way some people drive. But
That's
those are
me,
some.
can't
That's
drive.
you that I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Some of those people are trying to find ways to make that move a little bit sooner. So
Right.
it's great for us because
that is
now
good.
that person comes into the garden home. They live, they interact with our communities. They become a vital and vibrant part of our decision making
Yeah.
and the things that we add every year to the quality of life for the folks that live with us. And then as time goes on, they have the ability to move into assisted living and take advantage of the other care levels that we offer on our campuses.
Okay.
And
That
truly
makes sense.
have extended a healthy, quality, independent life for as long as possible.
Well, and you know what else they're getting is, I have found with my mother in a retirement facility that, her friends try to come, but they're all her age. She's 88. Okay.
Right.
So her new friends are all these folks in the retirement facility. So, if she'd maybe gone earlier, you know what I mean? Then you have that continuum of care to where you're still knowing the people that are around you.
That's correct.
Do you know what I mean?
I do,
Okay.
and that's a big part of it because just like anything else, independence and reliance related, you lose that circle of friends because we're all 88, we're all 92,
Yeah.
we're not driving.
Right.
We don't live that close anymore. We don't have the small community blocks where you can just kind of walk down to something.
Exactly.
So with the exception of the phone, which they stopped using because the hearing is a little difficult,
Yeah.
there's a lot of isolation that occurs. Whereas when they're in the buildings, in the garden homes, or in the assisted living, they can have meals together, they can play cards together, they can go
And they
see a
can
movie.
decide
They can
if they wanna
decide.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
What they want to do.
There's a variety of people to choose from. So they may have a friend down one hall, they may have a friend that lives out in the garden home, they meet new people.
Yeah.
What's really neat about that, as a side story, is oftentimes folks will move into our communities and find in the community somebody that they went to
Oh,
grade
yeah,
school
yeah.
with,
Oh, that
or
happens all
worked
the time.
with, you know,
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
1978 or the 80s.
Oh, heck, back in the 1950s, I've seen my mom as running into people.
rekindle those kinds of
Yeah,
relationships,
that's
especially
really
here in
cool.
Indianapolis, where you had Allison Transmission and
Oh,
some of the big companies
yeah.
that you know exist here.
Mm-hmm.
They've met those folks that they used to work with and go to school with. We even had one case where a student moved in, a person moved in, and their teacher was actually living there as well. So they met somebody that had
Really?
been a teacher
That's a small
of theirs
world.
in high school.
Yeah.
So some really interesting things happen with that friendship piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
I find Indianapolis, it gets smaller every day. They keep just running into people, and I'm sure it's the same for our folks as well.
It
Hey,
is.
I want to know about these garden homes. So tell me about them. I mean, are they like 2-3 bedrooms?
Mhm.
What do you
We
got?
have a variety of styles depending
Okay.
on the campus. So two
Which
bedrooms.
campuses have them?
So here in the Indianapolis area, we
Yeah.
have independent garden home living down at American Village. We have
Oh,
it in
54th and Keystone.
Brownsburg,
Sure.
out at Zionsville.
Oh, Zionsville has garden
Zionsville
homes
has them
too?
as
Okay.
well.
I
And
didn't-
then if you want to go to the Near East Side and down on the south, we have them at Rosegate.
Rosegate, yeah, I knew about
as
that
well.
one.
So we
Okay.
have those properties, and we have them in Meadow Lakes as well. So if
Okay.
you really want to get out into Mooresville, where you can
Well,
take
you
the
know,
fish.
pick up an Indy Boomer and take out the resource guide, and you have them listed in there, so you
Fantastic.
can find the garden homes through Allisonville Meadows. So they're all different kinds. You
Different
have 2 bedrooms,
kinds,
3
2
bedrooms,
bedrooms,
2
2
baths.
baths.
Okay.
Garages,
Okay.
a variety of different floor plans. We have them with dens. We
Okay.
have little sunrooms.
Okay.
A lot of
Wow.
times our couples will move in, and the gentleman has had an office in his home.
Right.
So they'll have the one bedroom that they use, the master with the bathroom.
Sure.
And then the secondary bedroom they'll set up as an office.
Yeah, I would. So no
sometimes
children
it's
can
a
stay there.
Craft room. Yeah, no children can stay there. That's the easy way out. Well, I'd love to have you, but I just don't have
just
the
don't
room
have
right
the
now.
room, yeah.
So yeah, they have that ability. So a lot of different styles, and then of course one bedroom. So as time goes on, and they want even less space to have to manage and worry about, they can transfer throughout that as well.
Well, and that's a big thing. Like you mentioned before, somebody's living in a 3,500 square foot home, and then they're supposed to go down to a 1-bedroom little apartment. That's hard.
It is.
Very hard.
It
So
is.
transitioning into the garden home would be a lot easier, and then it gets easier to get smaller and smaller,
What
as
you
time
realize
goes.
about the move, and that's a big part of that independence concept, is
Uh-huh.
if I have my home and I have all my stuff,
Yeah.
as George Carlin once said,
Yeah.
then I'm independent and I'm doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's really cool for us as well is people move in, they take the most important things,
Sure.
the things that are truly meaningful, and what you
Right.
realize, I think we all find it when we downsize or have a garage sale.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things I had that I just didn't really need,
Right.
and I don't really miss them.
Right.
So that transition to the garden home can be a great way of making that
I agree.
3,500 square foot step.
Yeah.
Still bring your things with you, and suddenly realize I'm having a great life. I've got the things that are important to me: friends,
Yeah.
family, health.
There you go.
And the mementos that really matter. And I'm off living my life. I'm going to movies and seeing plays. And just the other day, we had a
Enjoying
school
life.
come in and do a choir concert. And
Yeah.
you're getting back to the things that most of us experience every day in our lives,
Right.
kind of take for granted.
Right.
But as they slowly slip away, we don't realize it. It's not
Right.
like all this just gets taken away from you overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So every day, every month, every year, a little something goes away until finally we're just left being reliant on everyone. And you
Well-
come back in and we give you back that independence.
I think it's great. I think it's great. Jeff, boy, does time fly when you're having fun?
It flies when you're having fun, absolutely. And this has been great.
It's always fun. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
I want to remind everybody, pick up your copy of Indy Boomer Magazine at any Kroger or Marsh store in Marion and the surrounding counties. Don't forget Boomer TV tomorrow at 10:30, or I shouldn't say tomorrow, on Sunday. What day is it? Sunday at 10:30 on Wish with Patty Spittler. Hey, thanks
How
for
would they find out more
joining us.
information?
How would they find out more information? Was they could go to indyboomer.com, and I appreciate Jim, our photographer today, helping us with that. So join us next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.